Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first episode of the Phodcast. The winter meetings are finally done. Let's recap what the Phillies did in the winter meetings. Welcome to the Phodcast. I'm Sam, Century17. You can find me there. That is my main channel. Follow me anywhere, Century17YT. I do all kinds of general MLB content over on that channel. But my Phils, get a new podcast here, the Phodcast. My Phils went out, they made some great moves over this last week. We're going to be recapping them and going over where they go from here, what the lineup's going to look like, what does the rotation look like, and what more do they need to do to be the World Series team we know they can be. So that being said, you can go follow this podcast as well as my MLB podcast, which is the Century Baseball Podcast, over on Spotify or anywhere you get your podcasts. You can go subscribe to them, or the YouTube Century Baseball Pod. Anything, everything is going to be found somewhere on the channel. My backdrop obviously does not look great right now, but it'll get better. I've been sick the last few days. I haven't been able to pump out content as well as I'd like to, but we'll get to it. We'll get around to it. I'll get better. So, 3 major moves the Phillies. Well, 2 major moves they made. One pretty nice move that they made over the last week. Made a couple picks in the Rule 5 draft. We'll go over all of it. But the first one was when Monday, 4 days ago, the Phillies signed Trey Turner to a 11-year, $300 million deal, in which they will have Trey Turner on their team till he is 40 years old. Who cares? For all of the people who are saying, like, whoa, well, now we got to deal with him till he's 40. Who cares? If they go out and win you a World Series, the contracts are worth it. You realize that is why you pay these guys, is to go win a World Series. If they do that for you, then Dombrowski, everybody, they've done the job. That's exactly what you bring these guys in to do. Last year, he brings in Castellanos and Schwarber. This year, he brings in Turner and more guys. We'll get to that later. Guys who have been there to a World Series. And that's why I think Bogarts is a really solid pickup for the Padres, because he's won 2 World Series. Not a lot of people remember that. He's won 2. He's won 2 World Series. One in 2013, one in 2018. So he brought in guys who've won the World Series. He brought in Harper. That wasn't him, but they brought in Harper before him. They got all the guys there. Then Dombro got there. That's when they brought in the all-in mentality. Kept going out, getting guys. With the Harper injury, it brings up some concern. My head's going everywhere. I'm sorry, but make sure you use my code at Reebok, 10% off, code Century. Let's get to the lineup. Let's start with the lineup because we're there. Trey Turner. Trey Turner is practically a 5-tool player. He's so fast. He's so good. He's good at everything. I would probably say he's one of the best 5 players in baseball. Some people would argue he's definitely one of the best 10. When I think about, I can think of 4 players who are definitely, I would say probably definitely better than him. And then everybody else, it's kind of debatable. But, when I say that, Trout, Ohtani, Soto, definitely all 3 of those guys I think are better than him. My mind goes toward Yordan, definitely a better hitter, but doesn't have much value anywhere else. So it's kind of tough to tell. But when it comes to Turner, you can put him so many different places in the lineup, and the Phillies have a problem that is a good problem to have. They don't know where to put all these guys in the lineup. They're so stacked. Bryson Stott, their young stud, who I have very high hope for. I think he's going to break out this year. I mean, he's going to hit 8 or 9. I am very interested to see what kind of moves they make at the deadline. because if anything, it's going to be pitching, I'd think. But if they are not pleased with we're going to have to see what a full season of Brandon Marsh looks like. If they're not pleased with what a full season of Brandon Marsh looks like, then could we see them go after even, again, a different center fielder? Like, it's definitely possible. Definitely possible. Try to flip Marsh and somebody, or maybe like a Mick Abel, who there's only one immovable prospect in the whole entire Phillies organization. That would be Andrew Painter. Nobody else is immovable. Nobody else is at that level. So Marsh and Abel, some other guys, like a Nick Maton who looks promising, turn them into a better center fielder. I know we've grown to love all these great guys, Maton, Vierling, Sosa even. I love Edmundo Sosa. But, man, if this team wants to go win a world championship, at some point we have to think about the fact that they probably are going to have to move on from a bad player. You know, they've got the assets. They've shown. Actually, I do not know where they stand as far as luxury tax goes. That's one thing I've been trying to. It's one thing I've been trying to go look at. I'll pull that up. But let's think about the lineup. Until Harper comes back, I think Trey leads off. Trey Turner. But okay, so the first luxury tax threshold, I believe, is 213 this year. 213 million. Okay. This looks to be updated. All right. Anyway, Rhys Hoskins, by the way, avoids arbitration. He got a tendered contract. I'm just looking at some of the numbers. Wow. Harper and Trey Turner account for 34% of the team's payroll. Yikes. Wow. You add like Wheeler into there, it's 50%. That's incredible. That's incredible. So let's look at this right now. 2023 tax threshold is 233. Okay, 233. Total AAV tax payroll is 185. Arbitration, we're looking at 25 million in arbitration. Pre-arb guys, we're looking at another 9.5. Estimated benefits of 16.5. Minor salaries of 4 million. So looking right now at 207 million total tax allocations. But when you look at the projected total tax allocations, we're looking at 242. And people want the Phillies to go out and get another starting pitcher, which they probably... That's tough to say. I think we're going to rock with Andrew Painter, but it's tough to say. So regardless, we're going to be over... I'm pretty sure we'll be over the tax threshold. Now I'm going to get to a theory that I think we should go with, but I've been veering away from this lineup thing. So as I said, Trey Turner I think leads off until Bryce comes back. Now we're going to start with before Bryce. Turner leads off. I think Hoskins second. I don't love that. Hoskins is my favorite player, but second is just not hitting second. I just don't think that's it. I don't think that's it for him. Third, JT. 4, probably Schwarber. Clean up. He had 50 home runs this past year. 5, okay, so this is where it starts to get interesting, and where my theories are going to come into play. 5, I'd probably stick with Castellanos. 6, Segura, and this is where my theories come in. 7, Bohm, Stott, Marsh, 7, 8, 9. Or maybe go Bohm 6, Segura 7, whatever. Bryce is not going to be back. Phillies don't need another DH. They're not going to go out and get a DH. It's just that simple. They've got so many guys who can DH already. I think predominantly, I think the Phillies are showing they want to move Bohm to first. sad as it is for me to say, I think they're showing that Bowman's improved defensively. I think they'll move him. I think they'll move him to first. I think we're going to see Rhys Hoskins go into a DH role. I really do. When Bryce is out. I really do. Because I think Bowman's going to move to first. Stott, second base, Turner, shortstop. Segura's played everywhere in the infield in his career. There is no reason he cannot play third base. I don't know how much money he's going to command. Probably around $6 million. Bring him in 1 for 6. No one's going after him. I haven't heard anything about him. So, who's saying we can't bring him back? I think it'd be perfect. Love Gene Segura. I think he fits this team perfectly. I think everyone loves him in the clubhouse. So bring him back 1 for 6. He plays third for you till Bryce comes back. So again, I said Turner, Hoskins, Real Muto, Schwarber, Castellanos, Bohm, Segura, Stott, Marsh. Or Stott, Segura. It doesn't matter. The last 3 are pretty interchangeable. Probably depends on the day. When Bryce comes back, this is where we get quite interesting. This is where a grin comes to my face. A smile comes to my face every time I even think about this. Boy, this is going to be it. Once July, the All-Star break comes, oh my gosh. This is going to be just the most fun team to watch. Just incredible. Leadoff. When Harper comes back, I think it's in the Phillies' best interest to put Schwarber and the leadoff. And here's why. It was revealed last year that he, not demanded, but he asked to hit leadoff because he's comfortable there. He's done it in the past. He hits leadoff home runs. He sets the tone. Schwarber is no slouch on the base paths. He's a big guy, but he can run. I'm not joking around. I'm serious. I know I'm smiling. I'm not joking around. Guy can run. He's an athlete. He's not super old. He just kind of looks a little older. He's not. I'm pretty sure he's still in his 20s. He's no slouch to be a leadoff hitter. Yeah, his contact's not the best, but the next 4 guys who would come up in the lineup are. There is no slouch for Schwarber. It's not like disgusting to say that Schwarber to be a leadoff guy. He possesses most what you want. He gets on base. He walks. I was not a big fan of the move at first last year when they started to do it, but boy did I come to find the benefits to it. Schwarber 1. I think Trey goes 2. In this scenario, Trey 2 makes the most sense to me. Trey's never been an RBI guy, really, in his career. He gets on base for you. He puts the ball in play, beats out an infield ground ball, gets on, just great at it. He walks, too. He does walk at a nice rate. Better than average, at least. Harper goes to 3. I didn't like him in the cleanup role. Obviously, he's not going to be in those situations to hit the home runs that he did if he was not cleaning up. But I like when Harper hits 3 rather than when he hits 4. So, Harper in the 3. This is where you've got a lot of options. Now that Hoskins is moved out of the 2, I like Hoskins cleaning up. I like the power bat behind Harper. So if Harper gets on, you have the threat of the 2-run homer because Harper still walks at a nice rate too. Hoskins in the 4. This is where the Phillies lineup gets so incredibly deep. Just so incredibly deep. Because the 5, I think it's pretty obvious. You go JT. JT, he's such a beast. Such a beast. number 6, you got a lot of options. I mean, a lot of options. I personally like Bohm in the 6. Now, I think we need to keep Castellanos toward the bottom until he proves he can hit again, at least consistently. You know, he was not good last year. Not good in his first showing, first of 5 years. You better hope he comes back and is better. Obviously, we got to the World Series in spite of his poorer year. You know, I mean, still hit about league average. I'm pretty sure, at least. Let's look at what his OPS plus was, because he struck out just an incredible amount. Well, let's look at his OPS plus here. 95. Okay, so he ended up in the 6s. I thought he was in the 7s. Okay. 263, not terrible. Just a lot of singles, not getting a lot of extra base hits. His projections say 269 with a 772 OPS. They like 28 doubles for him. They expect him to bounce back pretty nicely, still strike out a good amount. Based on the player's performance. 83% relatability. Okay. Just looking at his last year K percentage, where's that at? Let's look. Strike 23.3%, bad. MLB averages 21.6. So, I mean, above average or below average, however you want to look at that. Average exit velo for him was down, is below average. Big guy like that, you don't want that. Walked well below average. I don't know. It was not good. It was not good. 6'4", 203. Guy's got to hit the ball hard. He was a compensation draft pick. Wow. Okay. 2010. So he was drafted same year that Bryce was drafted. Okay. Anyway, that's besides the point. Bohm 6, Castellanos. This is where I run into a lot of problems, and this is why I am not the Phillies manager. I like Bryson Stott hitting 7th a lot more than I like Nick Castellanos hitting 7th. The only problem is I hate Nick Castellanos hitting 8th. I don't like Bryson Stott hitting 8th. What's realistically going to happen is Castellanos 6, Bohm 7, Stott 8, March 9. What do I think should happen? Bohm, Stott, Castellanos, March. To me, it makes the most sense. To me, it evens out the lineup a little bit more. To me, it gives you the lefties at the bottom. You'd actually there's a flaw there. You have 3 lefties in the lineup, and they'd all be going 3 in a row, 8-9-1. So there might be a bit. That's where you're probably gonna end up seeing Stott move up the lineup, because he's gonna be the everyday guy. I think Edmundo Sosa's only going to be a guy who comes in late in the game. And honestly, as much as I love him, I think he's a prime trade piece for a reliever at the deadline. Especially because you have Trey Turner now, who is a much more athletic shortstop. You know, Stott's going to thrive at second. I think the defense as a whole is going to be better. Obviously, you're still having the corner outfields not looking great. But if they do what I think they should and bring back Segura, play him at third, or even play Stott at third, you're going to have a way better defense. Infield, Hoskins I love the guy. Just abysmal, man. Just abysmal. And if Bohm plays first, I mean, we've seen him play. He hasn't looked bad, but he hasn't looked great. I think if you get him more practice there, he's going to look better. By the way, he did not look bad at third last year at all. Looked very solid, especially in the latter half of the year. In the playoffs, looked really good. There's so many factors. when Bryce Harper comes back, this team is going to be. There's not going to be a lot of teams that match this team, to be honest. There's not a lot of teams that are going to be able to really compete with this team very well. Astros, definitely. They're still strong. They're my World Series favorite. Obviously, they just won, but they got better. They got better. Yuli didn't have a good year last year. And they brought in Abreu. They need catcher. They do need a catcher. I thought Wilson Contreras looked good for them. This is not the Houston talk, but the Houston Astros podcast. But Astros are the World Series favorite. There are not a lot of teams that are going to be able to go toe-to-toe with the Phillies. Phillies are they on paper better than the Mets right now? It's close. I might do that next podcast. That might be what we do. Who are the Phillies better than? That's going to be the next podcast, for real. Maybe we'll do one at the end of this episode. We'll see if they're better than the Mets. Anyway. That's Trey Turner. Trey Turner is a Philly. That's wild. That is beyond me. There have been very few times. I was in the weight room. I was working out at school, and I look at my phone, which was on silent. Don't ask me why. I looked at it, and excuse me, sorry. Trey Turner goes to the Phillies. I legitimately jumped up in the air and screamed. Yeah, that was pretty funny. I can't stop smiling, man. This is incredible. I watched the whole press conference live yesterday. Love the guy. Perfect fit. I don't like when people sign jerks, like Correa. I don't know. You got to go to the Dior store for him, but let's move on. Next player or next. Yeah, we'll go one player at a time here. We'll in the middle. We'll go with the middle, the meh move. Matt Strom. I'm not saying he's mid. He's good, man. There's a reason they got him 2 for 15. That is expensive for a reliever. 2 for 15. The guy's good. The long hair. He is going to be an asset out of the pen. I mean, ERA, not great. Not bad. Not by any means. 3.83 ERA. 4 saves. How many save attempts? Can we look at that? Let's see. Save attempts. K to walk ratio of 3.06. That's wild. So they got that going for him. Allowed 19 earned runs in 44 innings. Not bad. 17 walks. As I said, struck out a lot of people, though. Let's see. Home runs, earned runs, walks, strikeouts. 52. That's a lot. 52 strikeouts in 44.2 innings. That's a lot. 1 home run per 9. Exactly 1. 7.7 hits per 9. Whip of 1.231. Obviously, so not bad, not great. Those are not as great as I thought they were, numbers-wise. Projected to have an ERA of 3.94, so just about the same. No slouch. Not by any means. No slouch. But he's not the savior to the Phillies bullpen. I think we're going to see Sam Coonrod come back and get back into this bullpen healthy. I want to see if he's going to be able to come back and be an asset to this team or not. Big guy, throws hard, you know. Just looking at the guys, though. Yeah, Coonrod. Obviously, you have Sir Anthony. You have Alvarado. Obviously, Alvarado sold your season last year. But not completely his fault. Not completely his fault. Brogdon looked really good. Loved him. Bellotti was solid in the postseason. I'm done with Bailey Falter. I don't know, man. I'm just done with him, personally. Nick Nelson, don't love him. Plasmeyer, I'm interested with this guy because he had a couple innings last year and he was really good, and then they sent him right back down. Christopher Sanchez, interested to see what they do with him. But it goes without saying, Matt Strahm adds to the bullpen, adds another solid piece for this team. I would like to see the Phillies bring back Brad Hand. I thought he was really good. I thought he was really, really solid for them last year. He finished sub 3, did he not? Yeah, 2.8. 2.8. The whip was up because he was prone to the long ball, and the way he throws the ball, obviously, it's just gonna happen. He played for 3 teams last year. Wow, in 2021, played for 3 teams. Wow. He's played for a lot of different teams in his day. Wow. He is obviously projected to regress next year. 45 innings, though. He was really solid. I'd love them to bring him back personally. So let's bring him back. Let's bring him back. It goes without saying, Strahm is not the savior to the bullpen, but he's not the problem. He will not be the problem. Let's move on to the last move here. I'd like to stick around 30 minutes per ep. Taijuan Walker. This one truly did shock me. He was not on my radar for who the Phillies were going to get. I thought Phillies were going after a Jameson Taillon, someone like that. And I look at my phone, and Taijuan Walker, the passing bomb, gets put down. Or not passing. It was, oh my gosh, why cannot? Heyman says Taijuan Walker 4 for 71 to the Phils. I was genuinely shocked. I was shocked. I like the move. It's a little too much money. They did overpay. But they're going for multiple World Series right now. They know that. They know that they've got that little... They know that that's the window. Those 3-4 years, that's the window right now. After that, it's going to be interesting to see where they go. Because I hate to be that guy, but they're probably going to be back in mediocrity after 4 years unless they go out and keep spending. But I don't know. They're kind of in a position where they got to win now or never. So anyway, Walker probably is your 4. He's good. He owned the Phillies, which is kind of funny, but overall, yeah, I was just looking at his baseball reference page. I don't really know why. Last year, 3.49 ERA. Projected to be a 3.8 this coming year. Innings pitched he had. I can never locate anything. This is so awful. Okay, 157. How many strikeouts? 132. Not a strikeout guy. So you got 2 guys who are high strikeout guys, 2 guys who are not. 2.93 K to walk ratio. All right. He's good in the first half. This is the knock people have on him. Good in the first half, not good in the second half. Overall, I think he's really solid. What the Phillies need to do now is can we look at free agents? Here we go. Okay. Let me go to the free agent pool. I'm going to look for pitchers real quick. Starting pitchers. There's Syndergaard still on the table. Wow, there's a lot of starting pitchers still on the table. Price, Rodon, Syndergaard, Evaldi, 4 guys. Kluber, Bassett, Manaea, Greinke, Walker, Wade Miley, Jordan Lyles. Okay. Jordan Lyles might be the guy. Jordan Lyles or Mike Lorenzen. I like that. Lyles with Baltimore, he was not bad last. He might have been like high 3s, but that's the kind of guy that the Phillies are looking for probably right now. Let's see. And 4.4. Let's think about it this way. Kyle Gibson was the Phillies like 4 last year. He had like a 5 ERA. Jordan Lyles would be the Phillies like 5. He is actually expected to regress even more. Not a big strikeout guy. I wouldn't hate the move. I'm just looking at all the rest of the guys. No. So Jordan Lyles or bring back Noah Syndergaard. If they bring back Noah Syndergaard, oh my gosh. I would seriously start saying the Phillies are like World Series or bust. They already almost are. But I would pretty much say World Series or bust. Like Dodgers level. If they got Noah Syndergaard. That is incredible. That would be incredible. Evaldi, market value not much higher than Syndergaard. It's a possibility, man. Older, probably like a 3-year deal. You know, that window I was talking about. But boy, oh boy, man. That is... Wow, there's still guys out there. Chris Bassett, man. He would command more money, but oh boy, would it be nice to have him. Man. All right. I said I'd do this at the end of the show. So let's really quickly do this last thing. New York Mets depth chart. Just in case I completely forget. Starting rotation. I know it's not fair to do this right now because the Mets roster isn't really finalized. They don't really have their pitching yet completely. I don't think this looks terribly different than what it's actually going to look like, though, to be fair. All right. Let's get to it. Starting with the starting pitching, you got Scherzer, Verlander, Carrasco, Peterson, Mejia. I'm going to be completely honest with you. Wheeler Nola goes up against Max Scherzer, Verlander any day. Suarez, Walker is better than Carrasco, Peterson. So it's tight. I'll be honest, I think the Phillies starting pitching is better. I do. I really do. I don't think that's ridiculous to say. Let me know if it is. It might be. To me, that does not seem ridiculous to say. Scherzer, older. Verlander obviously just had a great year. There's no doubting that. Scherzer had a good year too. Wheeler Nola, dude, they're younger. They go for longer. Verlander's good. He goes for 6 innings every time. I feel like that's his one flaw. 6 innings, 1 run. That's what Verlander gives you every day. Wheeler Nola, they can go out there and give you a complete game every time. And they've got the stamina. And they did in the postseason, too. Bullpen. Let's look. It says Edwin Diaz, Drew Smith, Brooks Slade. Okay, this is very incomplete. Diaz, obviously, amazing. Sir Anthony Alvarado. I don't love the rest of their bullpen, personally. I don't love the rest of the Mets bullpen. But I'd probably get yelled at for saying Phillies. It probably is the Mets. Diaz is just that good, so Mets probably have it there. Phillies haven't been catcher. That's not a question. JT owns everybody. So 2-1. Pete Alonso to Rhys Hoskins. It's a kind of debatable subject. Pete Alonso is probably a little bit better. Hits for a little bit better average, a little bit more home runs. Second base, McNeil or Stott. Probably McNeil. Definitely McNeil. What am I saying? McNeil is better. I do like Jeff McNeil. I really do. Shortstop. Now let's go third base first. Combination of Yorme Escobar, Brett Beatty, or Alec Boehm. Alec Boehm is better. He is. Shortstop Lindor or Turner. Trey is better. He's just better. He is. Trey Turner is one of the best 10 players in baseball. Lindor's probably top 50. Left fielders, Mark Canha or Kyle Schwarber. That depends on what you like. Canha's lower OPS, little higher bet. It's Schwarber. It probably is. Canha's a little better defensively, but overall it is probably Schwarber. Right field, this depends on how you look at it. If you're going to say Harper in there, it's definitely Harper. You say Castellanos in there. We'll say the combination of Harper, Castellanos, or Marte. It's Phillies. DH, Harper, Hoskins, whoever you want to throw in there. They've got Alonso in there. It's the Phillies, man. On paper, right now, I think the Phillies are a better team than the New York Mets. I really do. I really do. All right, that's going to do it for today's episode of the Phodcast. First one, pretty much. That was fun. I liked it. About 40 minutes, somewhere in there, 30 to 40 minutes. I hope you guys did enjoy this one. Make sure that you guys... Oh, wow, that is loud. Make sure you guys go follow all the socials and everything. I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out.